Hey everyone, Dylan here from Iceberg TV. Today, I want to showcase for you guys 3 molds from Latitude 64 that I'm really excited to see them producing in new and exciting plastics. Now, these are 3 molds that a lot of you who started playing disc golf within the last few years may never have thrown before and potentially have never even heard of these molds. So the first mold we're going to talk about is something that was made famous by one-time world champion Dave Feldberg, and this is the Triple X. Now the Triple X is a super overstable 9304 fairway driver. Dave Feldberg hit one of the coolest aces of all time with this disc. Now I got some cool old runs, like vintage runs off of the used bin a few years ago. So we've got 2 really sick gold lime ones. And I'm really curious to see if the new stuff stacks up to the old stuff. The old ones look they almost feel a little slower in hand and also just feel a little more blocky and a little more overstable. So we're gonna throw old gold line, new opto, new gold line, and then we're going to talk about the next mold. Again, there's 2 more molds here I'm really excited about. Make sure you hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to check out any of these new molds, discgolfdealsusa.com/icebergtv to save 10%. All right, gold line, Triple X, then we'll see how the opto flies. Super reliable, super stable. And now they're coming out with this disc in the opto plastic, and hopefully some more plastics in the future. I actually wouldn't be surprised to see Isaac Robinson throwing this mold. This is something that would be right up his alley as a flex player. Let's hope it's just as stable as that gold lime was. Whoa, okay, touch straighter. Honestly, with Isaac's power, he may get that thing to hyzer flip for all I know. So maybe the old school ones are in fact a little more stable. Let's give it one more toss. I'm throwing these pretty hard. Let's see, how does this compare to the opto? Wow, okay. So that new opto one was a bit straighter than the old school gold lime ones. Very interesting. Definitely something I want to continue to test out, because when I first started playing disc golf, I had a Dave Feldberg Triple X, and I enjoyed it for a very long time before I eventually lost it. Now, the next mold we're going to be talking about is the Trident. It's kind of a similar slot, coming at a 6'4", 0.53. And I feel like the stable 6-speed is one of those lost arts of disc golf. It's a bit faster than your Buzz OS, but a bit slower than your Firebird. And it's a slot that I don't see a ton of people bagging. And the only mold in this slot that I see people bagging, at least somewhat often, is the MVP Resistor, which I believe has very similar flight numbers. Now we have this one in the opto line. We have it in the gold burst line, which I think is one of the coolest looking plastics they've ever produced. And then we have a super vintage, old school, like super color gold lime one. So let's throw the super color gold line. I'm expecting these to fly pretty similar to the Triple X. We'll go gold line, then we'll go the new opto, which I'm really excited about, and then we'll throw the gold burst. Man, I feel like people associate the name burst plastic with their baseline plastic, which beats in a little bit too quickly for most people's liking. So I bet that gold line burst didn't take off for that reason. That's one of the best looking and best feeling plastics they've ever come out with. Let's try the old school gold ice first. Oh, that's so money. I bagged that gold ice one for probably a year at one point in my disc golf career. Now what I'm curious about is, does the stability of the new opto stand up to the stability of the old school runs? We saw the Triple X was definitely a little bit straighter in the new plastic. Kind of the same vibe. Picking up and holding that line to the right for a bit longer than expected. I remember this one being a hair straighter than the Gold Ice one, but let's give it a nice firm flat throw and see how exactly this run compares. Honestly, this is the only one of these I've ever seen. I've never seen anyone else with one of these Gold Burst Tridents, but this is one of my favorite discs in my collection. Okay, so that one flies very similar to the new Opto Run. So if you do have one of the rare Gold Burst Tridents, the new Opto Run is going to be a great backup and great replacement for that run. But the Gold Ice seems to be a little bit more stable. Now, the last mold we're going to be talking about, the Striker, was made famous by Jesper Lundmark. And to my understanding, he had a large role in the design of this disc. It's an 8502 PD type, Thunderbird type control driver that's not going to be as wide as your traditional distance driver. It's going to get you some really nice distance, but hopefully for more powerful players, you're just going to get a super straight line with a dependable fade at the end. Now, the only other striker I have in my collection is one of these vintage gold line strikers, and you can see right here, it does in fact say striker on it. And it's one of these old runs that has like the description on top. I can't really read what it says, but yeah, there's this run of gold line in almost all of their molds that has the name here and the funny description on the top. So they did away with that eventually, but I love collecting these old gold line runs. This is one of my favorite plastics ever produced. This old like pearly gold line is just such a sick plastic blend. And I'd love to see Latitude 64 kind of bring this minimalistic design style back because although this type of design wasn't so popular back in the day, I think minimalistic designs are a lot more popular now than they probably were back then. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. So we'll go with the gold line and then we'll compare it to the new Opto line. The theme I'm seeing is that the new Opto line is flying quite a bit straighter than most of these other plastics. So let's throw the gold line first. I mean, that's a true 8502. Didn't release it as flat as I would have liked, but you saw a big swing to the left, basically all the way through that flight. Definitely would like to throw that one flat as well, just to see if I can get the punch a little bit straighter. So let's flatten this thing out. I will let you guys see the side profile as I did with the other molds. It's like, it's just faster than an Explorer and slower than a Felon. It's gonna be somewhere right in between those molds. Oh yeah, see, that's money. You can see definitely a bit straighter than the old school run. So all three molds in the new Opto line, probably flying a little bit friendlier for the slower arms out there than some of the older, more vintage runs of those same molds. So I'm really excited to test out all these molds in the future. Definitely gonna chuck at least one of those new molds in my bag, probably the XXX to see how it fares out on the course. But let me know, would you bag any of these molds? Are you excited to see Latitude bringing back some of the more vintage and old school molds in new plastic? I know I am. If you wanna check one out, you can get yours at discgolfdealsusa.com/icebergtv. Stay humble, live with gratitude. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and take care.